Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to day one of the finals of SKL. We are here live at the Matrix Gaming in Regina. I am Blake, the Xananator, Xanadine. Joining me today, or for this game at least, the young Bailey Ponnox Dietrich.
Hi guys, how's it going? We're going to be kicking off today with our first semifinal match, which is going to be Vicious and Delicious versus Fellowship of the Nerds. Vicious and Delicious did seed pretty high, so they got an automatic bye into the semifinals, where we did see Fellowship of the Nerds have to actually go in and play a quarterfinal match to be able to come to Regina today, actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a pretty interesting games that they had, leading up to this.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a very exciting series. I mean, we haven't seen Vicious and Delicious since the end of the season 3 weeks ago. Yeah, 3 weeks ago, I guess. I haven't seen them at all. So, I mean, they could have been practicing, prepping, but they technically haven't known their opponents until Wednesday this week.
No, yeah.
So, there's not much prep they could have done. I guess they would have known one of two teams, either Fellowship of the Nerds or Indecision. But Fellowship of the Nerds having a great series against Indecision there, coming out 2-0. It looked pretty strong. I mean, they fell behind in game two, but came back with a commanding presence, just kind of steamrolled them after that. But I think it's going to be good. Both teams very much do research the other teams. They're very smart with their picks, so I'm very curious to see how today's going to go. I think it's going to be a very smart, strategic pick then.
No, yeah, these guys, they definitely do a lot of prep. They have a lot of thought process that goes into it, where you do have some teams in SKL that they just kind of go off their individual talents and stuff like that. They pick their comfort champions, and then they kind of just go with that, where these two teams, they go with the meta. They definitely change it up every patch, and so just because since SKL kind of ended and since we've seen Vicious and Delicious last, there's been big changes in the meta. Like Mordekaiser's no longer a big flavor of the month anymore, and they were pretty known for just teams were giving them Mordekaiser comps again and again and again, and they were really abusing it. So I'm going to have to see how that decides to change. I mean, there have been some changes to the bot side of there, and definitely some more mid lane changes, nerfs to Gangplank, which Poop the Sheep does like to play a lot. So it's definitely going to change the meta up quite a bit for these guys. So I'm going to be curious how the picks and ban go for Vicious and Delicious, just because we haven't seen them forever. Fellowship of the Nerds, we've been seeing them a little bit in the quarterfinals, stuff like that. So we're going to kind of know how that one's going to play out. I mean, we know what they kind of tend to lean to. But, I mean, they can always pull a fast one on us here just because they might have prepped something special for Vicious and Delicious.
Yeah, exactly. And that is it. I like that you brought up the Mordekaiser point because our Vicious and Delicious is the only team that has actually really successfully run Mordekaiser. It's kind of a tricky thing to run. You have to have a specific comp to really make it successul. And now that I wouldn't say it's completely fallen out of the meta, but it's definitely not as favored as it used to be. And Fellowship of the Nerds have been a team to kind of ban that, but they also have come up with some extraordinary comps. I remember when they ran the Lulu Garen, I was very doubtful. I was like, I don't know about this, like the Garen pick, but they shut me up. It was a great comp, and
yeah,
I'm so excited. I mean, if anything, I can guarantee you one thing today: Mastery flares will be flying high today.
Well, I hope so. If not, I'm going to be extremely disappointed.
I was talking to Fellowship of Nerds before, and they were telling me they've already got the hotkeys set up for those masteries, so they'll be throwing it out left, right, and center. You'll see nothing but those flares being popped all day long. Well, hopefully all day long. We'll see if they make it on or not, I guess.
Yeah. So anyways, going back to that Mordekaiser point, I mean, the reason that Vicious and Delicious kind of got away with that all the time was they didn't find themselves getting caught out into just the full melee comps or anything like that. They had a backup plan almost for the most part. They didn't completely tunnel vision onto the Mordekaiser. They had other ways of winning the game in case the Mordekaiser did fail. So that's where we kind of saw other teams. They went with full melee comps and they get it abused because that's a very punishable team setup that you go with when you go full melee because have a little bit of range, you can kite them out forever. So it does really toss it around there a bit, but as you can see here, guys, we do have the LAN center that we're at here, Matrix Gaming, and so you can kind of see the setup that we have going on out here. This is just one side of the building, quite a few computers over there. So that's where the teams are going to be playing, and this is our viewing area that we have set up here, and there's a Crafty Buckeye, one of the resident casters here, just prepped and ready to watch this game. It's going to be a very exciting series as we come up into this one, but yeah.
Okay, well, I gotta specify, just so you guys don't think there's cardboard boxes lying around every computer. We had some technical difficulties, so there is a cardboard, I don't even know how to say it, a vision blocker, just so that Jay Fraser cannot spectate his opponent's stuff, but After all the technical delays, we are into pick and ban here, and there's no bans. They're taking their time here so far. Everyone connected into the game here, but I'm stoked. Max, this is the first semifinal. Are you ready for this?
I am so ready for this. On the blue side, we are going to have Vicious and Delicious, and on the red side, we are going to have Fellowship of the Nerds. So it is a best of 3, and Vicious and Delicious did seed higher. So Vicious and Delicious was able to pick their sides for game 1 and 3, and Fellowship of the Nerds were able to pick it for game 2. So coming up for this one, we are going to see the Bard band out here against Chosegood in that bot lane. I mean, it has been a big favorite for him. He's very, very proficient on Bard. It's a very hard champion to play well, but he really pulls it off, and it's a threat, and people don't know how to play against it, so they decide to just take it away from him here.
And this is exactly my point when I was talking last week with Silky, is this Bard Chosegood's Bard is unreal. The guy makes plays. The disengage comps are unreal that you can run with that. They take away the Victor, though, on the opposite side, taking it away from Bakery Boy, kind of one of his preferred champions, and they retaliate with that Lulu band, which we know Jay Frazier loves to play, and pretty much get Baby Trog rolling, usually on those hyper carries he loves to get on.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, that Victor is something that you want to take away. I mean, it's such a it's more of a okay pick right now. It's not going to carry your game super hard, which it still can if you let it get out of control, but it's exactly what it's meant to be. It's a control mage, it's safe, it's something you can just farm in the mid lane very safely with. It's not a huge risk, but it's a very comfortable champion, so they're going to take that away from Bakery Boy, maybe try and force him onto something a little more uncomfortable. We do see the Mordekaiser ban actually come through as well for Fellowship of the Nerds here. Going to try and take that away. I mean, we have seen them in the past, but Vicious and Delicious is actually playing with a different AD carry. Now, in the past, they've played with a player known as Formerly, and they're actually having to pull in their sub, Durka, to come in and play for him here. So, not sure if the Mordekaiser ban is nearly as warranted, because maybe he's not as comfortable in the champion, but I mean, they're not going to risk it either way. Just going to take that one away. And we do see the Malphite ban come out here against Harblow in that top lane. Counter with the Gangplank, so still pretty, the average pick and bans that we've seen in the past from these teams. I mean, the Comfort Champions, obviously the Mordekaiser, the Gangplank, even though they have gone through some nerfs here, they're still going to decide to ban them out just because they're comfortable on them. They don't want to give it to them because it's still a threat. It's not as good, but it's still dangerous.
Yeah, and actually, Poof's Gangplank is disgusting. We've seen him steal Barons. We've seen him just deal tons of damage. He knows this champion inside and out, and I think he's a key point in his team. Mm-hmm. He's usually one of those rocks that no matter what kind of situation they're in, Poof is there. He's kind of holding the team together. They hover the Gnar for a while, switching over to that Kindred. Only Kindred we've seen so far is DXI Edges, and it is locked in. And I mean, DXI Edge had a very good early game when he did play that Kindred last week against Fellowship of the Nerds. Just unfortunately got a little too greedy trying to get those stacks and got caught out.
Yeah, Kindred does have a lot of pros and cons. I mean, she does do an absurd amount of damage when she gets the stacks on there, so her burst damage is pretty unreal, as well as her utility with the team, so she can save any member of her team with her ultimate is humongous. But you're sacrificing kind of a front liner with that one, where you could opt for maybe a Gragas or something like that in the jungle. You're going to go with a very squishy damage threat. So they might have to try and round that out with Poof the Sheep going onto more of a frontline style champion. So the Gnar wouldn't be a bad pick for them, something like that. But they can't go with the very squishy comp, or else I think they could get punished by Fellowship here.
I very much agree. I do, however, really like the Morgana pick up there for Chosegood. Played against it myself in solo queue, and he's very proficient with the champion. It has kind of the same potential that Bard does. You have a lot of CC coming out from her. You can negate a lot of CC with that black shield. You can disengage with her. You can engage with her. So she has that flexibility as well, with similar playstyle as Bard. But Bosgood also picking up that Elise, very much one of his favorite champions. And on the other side, we have Shen and Ashe being picked up. So there's that front line we were talking about that we thought they might miss. You have that engage. You're able to use the globals, have that TP. You have the Stand United to help with the rest of your team. So far, very, very much kind of a skirmish team. Not even it's just a great. They have a lot of saving potential, I guess, on the side of Vicious Delicious with that ulti coming from Kindred as well as the Shen. Baby Trog hovering that Jinx. Wouldn't be surprised to see that locked in, or the Tristana. Definitely been his two favorite AD carries, but they are going to hover that Darius. We've seen Harablo play it a ton, and he's actually huge on that champion. And one thing I'm actually really looking forward to is seeing Jay Frazier and Harablo run that double TP strat against a team like Vicious and Delicious. They used it so well this week against Indecision, and I think it actually gave them the lead, because they were always pulling people away from the fight, TPing back in, always giving themselves the numbers advantage. So the Jinx being locked in and the Darius, I'm liking the comp so far coming out from Fellowship of the Nerds, and curious to see what Vision Delicious is going to respond with.
Absolutely. The Jinx, I mean, that's something he's gone to again and again and again in the regular season, as well as the Darius offers a lot of threat for a frontliner as well. So he can build very tanky, but he does an absurd amount of damage, and the heals are going to keep him up there in the front line for as long as possible. So it's a very good pick because, I mean, if you want to dive that Jinx, like with the Shen, or if they go with this Hecarim here, they're going to have to get past this Darius, who's a huge threat. So that's a very scary kind of something you have to go into there. So the Jinx, if she can position very well, which Baby Chog has been known to do, they can... I feel like this Jinx can go off hyper carry all the way, but we do see the Gnar locked in here, and as well as the Twisted Fate hover. That might be pretty good into this one, just because it's going to be able to counter the roams that Jay Frazier and Harblow have gone with its double TP comp, because they are usually the first ones to initiate it there. But Mo Money locking in that frontliner, I do like that one. So they are going to go with Bakery Boy on the Twisted Fate. So it's going to offer a lot of mobility and a lot of choices with their team, just because they're going to be running the double TP and the double TP ultimates, I guess you could say, with the Shen and the Twisted Fate there. So they're going to be able to be in the bot lane like once a minute at least as a 5-man squad. So this meta, it's pretty annoying that way, but I mean it does provide for a very action-packed game once it does kind of get going there. But the Ahri being hovered here for Jay Frazier.
I don't think that Ahri pick would surprise me at all. They played it quite a bit. It's one of Jay Frazier's. They do lock it in. But I like the team comp coming out from Vicious and Delicious to answer to this very global... I don't even know what the word I'm looking for. The Village of the Nerds are just all over the map all the time. They use their TPs very efficiently. So now you're looking at Vicious and Delicious. They have TP on their top laner. Oh, he has switched to Cleanse. But you've got your support can go global at level 6. Your mid laner can go global at level 6. Then you have TP as well on your top laner. They can match all the global presence that Fellowship of the Nerds really bring with those team comps, and they're going to be able to go head-to-head with them, but they also have very good pick potential. You get the TF, lands the stun card, you've got the Ash Arrow, the Taunt. There's a lot of CC coming out, so I really like the way these team comps are matched, and so I don't know if I can give the edge to anyone. I feel like Gnar has a bit of an advantage over that Darius, but Harablo's Darius has shown it's pretty persistent. When we saw him play against the Renekton the other day, that's a favorable match for Renekton. He was down in CS, but he didn't die 1v1, which is very crucial.
Yeah, I can definitely see these lanes going pretty even as far as the laning phase goes. I mean, we haven't seen Durka yet, so it's going to be kind of curious to see how that one pans out. But I'd say like the real game changer is going to be those teleport uses. Which one can, pull the trigger faster? Which one can follow up with the team? So it's going to be all about communication in this game. Which team is going to, be coordinated enough? We're not going to hopefully see like one TP come in late or anything like that, because that could definitely turn the entire fight around. So it's going to be which of these teams decides to, use TeamSpeak optimally, or which team decides to use Google Hangouts optimally. But I'd say that's going to be the big one, because as far as the laners go, I feel like they are pretty even. I mean, there's a little bit of mismatch in some of them, but all in all, I feel like they can definitely hold their own. But it's definitely going to be about coordination and team play here. These are very, coordinated teams that we're dealing with here. They bring so much communication, like Vicious and Delicious, definitely known for, being all on the same page at the same time. They have some great shot calling there, where, I mean, some other teams in the past, one's going in by himself and everyone's already backed out. So not something we've seen from Vicious and Delicious. So it's whether Fellowship of the Nerds can kind of, capitalize with themselves and their own communication.
And that is really the key. I'm very curious to see if Fellowship of the Nerds are even going to try and run that 1-3-1 once again. I don't know if Morgana's ulti is as useful as Bard's when disengaging, because you can catch multiple targets in there. Morgana, you have to kind of be in there. You have that range with Bard. Okay, they're engaging. Get out of there, kind of back off. But yeah, Jay Frazier and Harablo really love to split push, and like you said, communication is going to be key. You tell someone to teleport in before you actually need them, and the team backs off. That's a wasted teleport. You've now lost your global advantage, and this is how both these teams are going to go at each other. The global presence is really going to be the key to this game, and I'm with you 100%. I think that communication is going to win the game for either team, only because you need to have that global presence, and matching that split pushing is going to be huge. But I do think that the TF should be able to give it that Ahri.
Yeah.
As far as split pushing, you can wave clear pretty quick with those wild cards, red card. You're pretty mobile. Movement speed. He brought the cleanse to get rid of that charm, negating a bit of the damage. So see if Bakery Boy can bring it out. I was actually kind of expecting an Azir pick. I know he's very much like that, but they want that global presence, so it's going to be very exciting. I don't even know who to give the advantage to. I know usually we pick the advantage going in team comps, but I really like both team comps. I think they were both very well thought out.
No, absolutely. I mean, like a lot of prep you can see kind of went into this game, that they've kind of structured these comps, so ended up breaking very even. But anyways, guys, we are going to take a short break here, and we are going to play an advertisement for you, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after these. All right, guys, we are back. So, thus far, I mean, we do have Vicious and Delicious versus Fellowship of the Nerds coming up here. They are just loading into the game, so... But back to the team comps here, we did see that Twisted Fate take Cleanse. I think that is probably the smartest thing. Rather than taking the Teleport, I mean, it's in his ultimate, but you want to run the double one just to match the Ahri. But... with this comp that they're going up against, I mean, he's got the Morgana to worry about. He's got the Elise with the Cocoon to worry about. He's got that Ahri charm. There are so many things that can catch him out here as an immobile Twisted Fate. That's very smart choice. But anyway, guys, we are loading into the game here. So on the blue side, we have Vicious and Delicious with Poof the Sheep in the top lane playing that Gnar, to Freakers in the jungle playing that Kindred, Bakery Boy in the mid lane with Twisted Fate, Durka playing Ashe on the 80 carry role, and Mo Money on support playing that Shen.
And on the red side, we have Fellowship of the Nerds. We've got Harablo in the top lane bringing out that Darius, Bosgood in the jungle with that favorite Elise, Jay Frazier bringing out that Mastery 5 Ahri. We've got Baby Chalk on the one and only Firecracker Jinx in 80 carry. And rounding out support, we've got Chazgood on that Morgana. And I gotta say, looking at this, I see 7 level 5 masteries. So if I don't see some flares being popped, I'm going to be a little disappointed. This is what I watch Fellowship of the Nerds for. High quality play and the mastery flare. The Vicious and Delicious bring out their own flares.
No, absolutely. I mean, these teams are definitely known to show and showboat a little bit on either side there if they do have the opportunity to. So I'm definitely excited to see if we have a very good team fight that goes either way. Some flares, some emotes spanned, but I think the biggest one is going to be the level 1 emote span if they do find each other in the jungle here. So that's going to be a lot of fun. These teams do have interesting level 1s coming into the game. We usually do see the double jungle coming out from both of the sides. Poof the Sheep, I mean, he's a very proficient top laner, and Gnar is definitely one of his favorite champions. He's played it a ton into the regular season, so that's definitely going to be the one I'm going to be watching so far coming into this game, is going to be that top lane, just because, I mean, Darius, very, very strong, but he does have the chance to be kited out pretty hard, and Gnar is definitely good at that, using the boomerang. Once you kind of get some CDR on him with the Black Cleaver potentially building there, or even the... any of those defensive items, it's pretty easy to kite out a Darius if you do have to. So I'm going to be interested to see how that one pans out, but I also am very interested to see how this Kindred ends up playing into the game here. But yeah, very, very interesting.
I do like the Elise pick matching the Kindred. I think it's very important to have a strong early game jungler going against Kindred. Me and Silky talked about this a little bit earlier in the week, how Kindred is going to try and invade early. You want to try and get those stacks as fast as possible. There's a Mastery Flare. I'm sorry, I had to interrupt. I love it. They're throwing it out. They know we want it. They're pleasing us. But we definitely have to look. I mean, the Kindred's going to be invading. You want to get those stacks. You can only get 6 stacks off of jungle creeps. Once you hit 6, the rest have to come from champion kills. So you want to make sure that you're invading, trying to get that, but you have to do it when it's safe. You need a team to back you up, and that is where DXI had faltered last week. He tried to make an unsafe invade. The rest of the team collapsed. They ended up getting 2 kills off of it, and from there, we didn't really see as much of an impact coming up from DXI Edge. So to Freakers, he seems like a pretty safe jungler. I mean, the guy's a Zac main. He knows all about trying to be safe and invade here. Do have a quick pause. Vicious and Delicious progressed a lot throughout the season. They had a bit of a shaky start that first week, but since then they've kind of just slowly gotten better and better, and their games have been very, very decisive. Actually, So, okay, we are back in game here. Let's get to these level 1s.
Marked for death, Harblo in the top lane already.
I'm very curious if you want to use that. See, I don't play Kindred. I don't know if you mark, but you can definitely play mind games with this champion. That's what I love. I mean, you throw the mark, oh, hey, I'm going to gank top, throw it bot lane. They're going to start playing safe if you're lane. It helps relieve pressure. If you're just getting hammered at your turret, mark someone for death, they know they might have the potential of getting ganked. They're gonna back off, alleviate that pressure, then you can go gank somewhere else that you're near.
Exactly. It's more or less the risk of being ganked. It's exactly like when Nocturne uses his ult and Paranoia and the whole map goes dark, everyone just backs off even though he's nowhere near their lane, so they're just scared more or less. So that's exactly the same kind of threat that the Kindred offers, marking someone for death, even though she's not necessarily going towards that lane. But she is starting on the bot side of the map, so it could definitely be likely that her first gank is going to be going towards that top side unless she decides to back off very early on here. But we do see the double jungle coming out again here as the bot lane decided to take a camp here right off the bat. So Durka and Mo Money trying to get that experience lead right off the bat here. And Poop the Sheep already a little bit low, just going to try and help leash the Kindred a little bit, get her ahead off the start of this game.
Correct.
We also, yeah, Pablo, he backed off pretty early there to go pick him out some more pots, potentially. 6 CS already.
Yeah, he tanked the first wave. Took about maybe a quarter health damage. Tried to get that freeze so that he could go back. He knew Poof was double jungling. I mean, like you said before, it's a vicious and delicious kind of signature double jungle. So he pushes the wave to the turret really quick and then freezes. That way he can still CS safely without being punished by Gnar. With that range, that boomerang, kind of makes it really hard for you to get close. You can't sustain off the guy with your decimate. So very smart play there by Harablo. He didn't even have to use his TP, and he's back at the same time. He's not quite level 2 yet, but at least the wave will start pushing towards it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this is going to be a tough time for Mo Money and Durka in the bot lane. Just having this Morgana that's just going to try and pretty much counter every move they might try and make here with the spell shield that's going to be tossed on the Jinx every time Mo Money tries to go in and taunt, or every time they try and get a slow onto him there. They're just going to completely turn that around, and so it's going to be very hard for them to find that window of opportunity where the black shield is down and then be able to try and take an advantage in this bot lane. So, and Baby Chalk, he's very proficient AD carry. I mean, definitely very strong, very great laning phase coming out of him. We already see they're a couple of CS ahead, so they definitely have their own pressure coming up here. So, I mean, very, very strong bot lane coming out of both of these teams. Baby Chalk definitely leaning more towards the hyper carry, very carry-oriented role for his team. He likes to, put himself in the position to win it or lose it, depending how he positions in the team fights. So it's very great to watch him play, just because he's a very, very fun AD carry, and he likes to be a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah, and honestly, we actually haven't seen Durka since the qualifiers. He came in the last week. Vicious and Delicious had gone 1-2 in their last set of qualifier games. Brought in Durka, 3-0'd their group the next day with Durka in. Ended up bringing it in formally. Thought they must work better with the team, but he's back, and yeah, he did a great job with Vicious and Delicious. So we're gonna see maybe they kind of throw them a curveball going against that bot lane. But I do like the Jinx matchup. The Black Shield's gonna be huge, blocking out the arrow, the taunts. It's really great. But going top lane here, great job by Harablo, and we're seeing that freeze finally pay off. It's pushing into his turret now, but he's got quite a bit of a wave going in there. Should be able to get a bit of a CS advantage, keep himself from being completely zoned out and bullied by Poof. And we do see Kindred here coming up towards Freakers. Might go for the golems. They aren't marked, but gonna make his way. We might find a fight in the jungle here. Oh, yeah. He is spotted out. He goes on to Bosco. The Force Flash does come out. He's trying to put down some damage, steal the camp here as it is marked. He does get the mark, I believe. Does get that smite. So that is his first mark of the game.
Absolutely great, attempted a duel there. Obviously forcing Bozgood off just because Kindred does have such great dueling potential, especially when you set up the Wolf Spite, the AoE kind of circle there. So Wolf will go out and actually attack the enemy as well. So it does a lot of damage that you don't really account for the most part.
Absurd amount of burst damage early.
So yeah, it's hard to duel a Kindred 1v1 right off the bat here. You have to definitely get some defensive items there, really help yourself out, because she has a very strong early game if she ever catches you out by yourself in the jungle. So you don't want to hand over those stacks to her either. But that's definitely a great move from Freakers to kind of realize that he's capable of invading and taking that camp for himself. So he's really working on those stacks right now and finds that the Rift Scuttler is the next one marked there. Or he just picked it up and he's making his way towards the bot lane, but we do see a big fight coming out.
And you start going on. Baby Shark is getting chased here. Freakers does go in. The Force Flashes do come out. The exhaust does go down, but it should not be enough. He's going to take down Baby Chalk for first blood, going to the Freakers there. That's going to be a good advantage, getting that bot lane going. But Bakery Boy is down there as well. Bosgood trying to get away from that red card. He will use a repel, jumping to the Freakers. He does get the slowdown. The red card does come out. They keep chasing. The Ash goes through. Mo Money picking up that kill with the Vorpal Blade. And that's a very good start for Vicious and Delicious.
Absolutely. I mean, not so great that Mo Money ended up picking up that kill in the end there, but I mean, still, having the 1 kill onto Kindred is definitely going to help her out right off the bat here. And just the fact that both top laners, neither one of them kind of teleported down to the bot lane, kept it pretty even. But Bakery Boy, I mean, if he would have pulled that yellow card, might have been a little bit cleaner. But still, all around, great play from them. Great map movements, recognizing that Bakery Boy has to make his way down to that bot lane. Jay Frazier just not really in the same kind of position there. It seemed like a little bit slow on the movement. I mean, didn't really call out Bakery Boy leaving the lane too quickly there, and so it really was punished there. It's going to put this Jinx behind quite a bit here, as we do see the Shen. He does have the Relic Shield, so that's some gold split between him and his AD carry, so would actually put him slightly above there, especially with the 2 assists. So that's definitely going to help out this Ashe Shen bot lane coming into the later parts of this game.
And that's actually a great, that second kill onto Bosgood is actually them punishing that forced flash earlier from when Tefreakers invaded. They knew he had no flash. He had to use the repel. The only person he could repel to was Tefreakers. Get the slow off, they got the red card, you get the taunt, completely CC'd up. There's no way he's getting away, and that's exactly what you need to do. You get an advantage, you push it, and that's what Vicious and Delicious, that's why their games have been so dominating. They know how to take a lead and just throw it right at you. They completely snowball their games, so we'll have to see if they can push this 2-0. Fellowship of the Nerds, a very resilient team, though. We don't see them go down without a fight, so I definitely wouldn't count them out at this point in the game, but that is definitely going to be a big advantage for Mo Money and Durka.
No, we do see Bosgood, though. He's definitely making his way towards this top lane. Going to try and maybe help out Harblow, who's he's having an okay time against the Gnar, actually. They're pretty even in CS. I don't see a lot of action happening towards that top lane, but we do see Kindred as well making her way to that top lane, maybe potentially going for a lane gank. But we do see that the Mark has gone on the River Scuttler in that top side of the map, so going to try and maybe go for a lane gank here onto Harblow.
Jay Frazier does get yellow carded, though. Mo Money comes in. He doesn't quite land the taunt, as the Spirit Rush is enough to get him out of there. Just going to clear out the pink ward. Hey, he had to use his ult. Might as well pick up free 30 gold.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, that is a pretty big cooldown, though. Down for Jay Frazier in that mid lane, so losing a lot of pressure right now. So he's definitely gonna have to wait that one out for a bit before he's even gonna try and roam around or use his teleport. So that's definitely an advantage as far as positioning and pressure goes for Bakery Boy in that mid lane now. But I mean, Mo Money, great roam from him to come into that mid lane there and apply that onto the mid laner there. So it's definitely going to open up their options a little bit here, as Kindred is going to be taking that Rift Scuttler there, so she might be making her way around there. But we do see Jay Frazier. He's going to go picking up that blue buff that's going to be handed over from Bosgood. And so far, I mean, they're just playing it safe out right now. I mean, not a whole lot of action quite yet, but this Twisted Fate is doing pretty well in the lane for himself. He picked up those Lucidity Boots, rushed them very quickly, so he's got that cooldown reduction for his ultimate, and he's going to be able to, you know, be popping that ad whenever he wants to, basically. So that's pretty normal for Twisted Fate to pick that up very early on. But yeah, it's good that he's able to keep the pressure with the wild cards and farm up very, very well. 64 to 55 CS in that mid lane. But we do see finally that Poop the Sheep is pulling ahead a little bit here, creating an advantage for himself in this top lane. Not really any assistance going that way, but we do see the Kindred invading, but we do see Bosgood recognizing that Kindred is on the top side of the map and going to be, you know, trying to go for a lane gank. But it was spotted out by the ward, so not a lot coming up from that.
Poop does get the ulti off. He throws the Gnar out. They're going to try and chase Arablo, but he's underneath his turret. He's going to try and stay safe. Just a little bit of trading down, putting down some damage. Just like you said, though, Bosgood really trying to find somewhere where he can gank. Gets spotted out by a ward there, but they're easily going to go. And Tefreakers does have that ulti available. Very curious to see if they're going to go for the dive here. He is hovering around the top. Bosgood is making his way up there, however. No camp is available, but Tefreakers going to hang around there. They don't have the Gnar ulti available, though, for Poop the Sheep. So not sure how successful that gank can be. But that ulti coming up from Kindred should be able to keep them alive. They are going to go for it. Poop the Sheep putting down a lot of damage. Tefreakers taking the turret. Are they going to be able to pick it up? They will. Pretty easily executed.
Not having to use the ultimate either, so that was a big play coming out of the side of Vicious and Delicious, being able to save those cooldowns and still pick up the kill.
Yeah, just really great. I mean, I thought maybe he'd have to use his ulti, and then Harablo could have played around that, trying to stay close in there, keeping himself alive. But the snare does land on Mo Money. Probably just going to pick up some money off of the Frost Queens there. Not going further anymore, but this bot lane, CS advantage, Baby Trog, despite getting those early kills going against them, they are up about 12 CS, but they do land the CC onto Durka. He is still kind of caught up. The taunt does miss from Mo Money, but they're just going to back off. They're going to just keep farming their little hearts out, try and keep pushing that advantage. They don't really want to fight. They do have that BAF sword to the pickaxe advantage, so use the farm, slowly catch up, but Jay Frazier, that blue buff's really going to help him also push in that wave mid lane. The biggest thing with TF is if you can push your wave into that turret, you can roam. Use that ulti, get ganks. need that counter push to keep TF under his turret so he can't utilize his ulti. He is kind of here to Freakers hanging around. Just going to pick him up a pink ward.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's what we're going to have to start seeing from these mid laners. So far, we've only seen Bakery Boy go down to the bot lane for that one play there, and it did result in some kills for Vicious and Delicious. So I do expect seeing the teleports come out. Now that both ultimates are up, the teleport is up from Jay Frazier, so that could definitely result in something there. But there is a little bit of action in the mid lane here. As Bakery Boy is definitely taking some damage here from Jay Frazier, just getting chunked by the Orb of Deception there. So great play coming out of Jay Frazier, just creating pressure in his own advantage in that mid lane.
Yeah, doing a lot of damage there, and it's actually really great. Kindred went for the stack there in River. By Baby Truck and Shotgun. Oh, we do have a fight here, though. A great Gnar ulti coming up from Poop the Sheep. He should be able to pick the kill. Harablo does use the flash, followed by the flash. He throws the rock, drops the house, gets out of there, picks himself a free kill, and that's kind of been something that's just been building up. That Gnar Darius matchup is so hard for Darius. You just kind of get bullied, and once you get that Mega Gnar, you're so tanky, you can kind of tank some of that damage, throw down the CC, and pick up an easy kill.
No, yeah, definitely. Tafreaker being a little bit aggressive here as he's going in without Mo Money or Ash, trying to do a little bit of damage. If he would have got caught by that the snare there, that would have spelt a little bit of trouble for Vicious and Delicious, but able to sidestep that one using his Q. But again, back to that top lane, that's pretty huge, just picking up the solo kill there for the Gnar. Now 2-0-0 with 101 CS, so he's got quite an advantage pretty much in every regard. Going for that Black Cleaver first item to get the CDR as well as just some pretty good damage onto the Darius there. So great play so far from Poop the Sheep, and they are going to pick up a Dragon on the tail end of that, just having the positional advantage as well as the man advantage, as they did recognize that Bozgood had back. So picking that one up, just some great map movement there. As we do see, as far as the vision game goes, not a lot spread out here. We do see a couple deep wards coming out for Vicious and Delicious here, but other than that, I mean, they have the general, the pink setup, as well as a couple, generic green wards in the tri-brush, just to ensure their own safety, basically, and recognize any invades. But Tafreaker's trying to, push this lane out a little bit here for Bakery Boy, but Mo Money getting caught by another snare. This Morgana definitely turning stuff around in the lane a little bit.
Yeah, trying to keep him away, making him unable to really frontline, keep that pressure, kind of push Baby Trug off of putting down a lot of this damage and farming so well. But yeah, a lot of defensive pink wards coming out from the side of Vision Delicious, trying to keep themselves over. We do see Bakery Boy. He does use the Destiny. The flash red card does come out. Bozgood is there. The flash being used by two Freakers as well. They're going to catch Harablo and take him down. Great combination there. And that's where we said the global presence is going to be huge. Bakery Boy getting in there, the two flashes used by Vicious and Delicious, but they pick up another kill onto Harablo, just snowballing so much more for Poof the Sheep, and like we've said, he's kind of that rock for Vicious and Delicious. We never really see him falter, so getting him ahead is huge.
Yeah, and I mean, Kindred 202 right now, and she did mark Darius for death, so those are going to be going towards her in that one. So great on the Kindred to be picking up the stacks, recognizing where she needs to create the pressure, and really take her own advantage there. So it's going to be resulting in pretty strong mid game coming up for Kindred.
Yeah, we do see Durka in a bit of trouble here as Bozgood does go down. He does land the lantern, or the Cocoon. They keep chasing the Shen ulti. Stand United is used. The Chomper's just missing wide, but Baby Shark's going to keep going as the taunt goes on to Bozgood. He's very low. He's going to use the repel. However, the rest, Poof the Sheep is there. He picks up the kill onto Bozgood. They do use the ulti coming out from Chomsgood. They lock him down. Another snare, and that will be a double kill for Baby Truck. So that TP play being reversed a little bit, and a great little push back there, picking up a few kills for Fellowship of the Nerds, and on anyone better, they get it onto Baby Truck.
No, fantastic movements there from Fellowship of the Nerd, knowing that Bakery Boy's ultimate is still down. He doesn't have teleport. He's not going to be able to go down there. So even if the Gnar decides to TP down, they know that they're at least going 3 for 3 there, like a 3 versus 3. But they ended up picking up Ashe before the Gnar was able to be a huge impact, turn it around for a 3v2, and they were able to really capitalize on that one. So it is still 6-2 in kills, but that's definitely going to be huge, having the kills on the Jinx. Going to create a lot more pressure in this lane, picking up the BS sword for herself now. So definitely going to be able to just farm up, scale very well into the mid and late game for Baby Chalk here, which is exactly what they need with the kind of comp they've structured here.
It's so important. I mean, it does kind of suck that we have that Darius. He does need to start getting that itemization, but now that he's got almost that Black Cleaver, build Black Cleaver, go straight tank, and just be that frontline nuisance that they really need him to be. They have the only front line that they really have, I guess, is Poof the Sheep on that side, but he is also very big. He's got that Black Cleaver completed. He's got the giant spell. But him going bot lane and dying did give Harablo some time to kind of free farm, which he is doing right now. And that short hop didn't quite get him out of Soul Shackle's range. They locked him up, pick up that kill. But yeah, Baby Trog is definitely the one they need these kills on. We've seen him be able to single-handedly kind of put the team, pull them back into the games. Jay Frazier doing very good in the mid lane though. He's keeping up quite well with Bakery Boy. He hasn't quite had the global presence that Bakery Boy has had, even with that teleport. But he's done a great job at kind of keeping him in lane, keeping up in CS, and still being as part as many kills as Bakery Boy.
Yeah, that's basically it when you're playing against a TF. You pretty much just have to make sure you keep them in check. So basically, if they roams, you got to call the roams out very, very early on to give to your laner some time to prep. But if you can kind of create enough pressure in the mid lane to keep them from not roaming, that is optimally what you need to do. He did go with the Lich Bane second item right off the bat rather than like a more bursty item. So interesting first item there.
Oh, the Cocoon does land on him too. He's taking a lot of damage. He does get hit by the snare. The ulti is used, and it does absorb that Super Mega Death Rocket. The taunt, great taunt coming up from More Money. They lock down. They do pick up the kill. The arrow lands onto Baby Chalk. They're doing a lot of damage to him. Bakery Boy does use the Destiny. It is a little far back. They do land the stun card onto Bosco. They will pick up that kill, however. Baby Chalk surviving with just a sliver of health, and they do turn that around, and that's the problem with Kindred. When you catch them out, if you have that ulti available, you can't take them down for a certain amount of time. Super Mega Death Rocket used prematurely there, and they aren't able to secure that kill.
No, being so close and being able to kind of layer that CC onto the Kindred there to kind of stop her from using the ultimate, but they gave her just enough time to be able to pop that, save their life, and we were able to actually turn that around and pick up the kill on a Chosegood and Bosegood there in the jungle in the support role. So great on them, and we do see Poof the Sheep. He's kind of going in for his own invades here, going to pick up the red buff for himself, and that's going to spell even more trouble for the Darius. I mean, if you didn't want to kind of get caught out or like just, you know, chased down by a Gnar, the red buff's definitely going to hurt your chances there, just because the slow does apply on the auto attacks, and that's definitely going to, I mean, Darius, he doesn't have a lot of mobility himself. I mean, he's got the pulls and stuff like that, but he doesn't have any dashes or anything to get away from the Gnar, who's going to be able to definitely keep up. So if Poop the Sheep kind of gets his hands on him, he's not going to have a big chance to get away. So Harblow recognizes that, doesn't want to go back to lane quite yet, so he's going to help some camps out here as he's going to take those away from his own jungler. But Tafreaker is going to potentially catch out Chosegood here.
Oh, he does land the Dark Binding. He is kind of caught up. This Black Shield as well as the Flash going to be used. Jay Frazier going to try and come in. The Exhaust is used. A TP coming in from Harablo. He does land the Charm as well. Can they kill him before he gets the ulti off? The Shen ulti comes in. Stand United, but it is not enough. They take him down. Durka is there. He does land the arrow. However, Harablo pulling in Durka. They do just destroy him. They're going to keep chasing him. However, Bakery Boy has that stun card available. They are just going to back off and prep for Drag, which is up in 10 seconds. But another great pick by Fellowship of the Nerds, slowly pulling themselves back into this game.
This is exactly what Fellowship of the Nerds needed. They needed to get a great catch right before a big objective, so the dragon is live, and there's just no way that they can contest this without Tafreakers or Durka, their jungler, who's going to have the smite, as well as one of their biggest damage threat. Mo Money getting pulled into the pit, though. He's going to have to use his taunt to get out of the pit, though, not being able to use that in any way optimally at all. But, yeah, fantastic capitalization there from the team. Chosegood, he actually baited in the Kindred pretty hard there, using the snare, but then just standing still, just saying, come get me, I'm just waiting here for you. Ended up pulling Kindred way deeper than she needed to be, getting caught up by the charm, and then the rest of the team was just able to follow up, capitalize on that. Great collapse from Fellowship of the Nerds, and great return here as they're kind of slowly closing the gold gap here, as they are just under, you know, just a little over 3K gold down going into this game. So definitely still in the cards here. If they keep making plays like this and keep catching members of Vicious and Delicious out, they can definitely turn this one on its head and slowly start inching their way back into this game, which they already are.
Yeah, the gold discrepancy in that top lane is probably a majority of the lead for Vicious and Delicious, as Poof is up a solid 33 CS here. But that was a great TP play by Harablo.
Oh.
Poof the Sheep trying to trade for that turret, but unable to get it. But this is great pressure, kind of keeping Bakery Boy off that turret. They might be able to push some damage down, but Baby Chalk has to be very careful. But like we were saying, lots of gold on the map to be picked up. There's a ton of turrets. They're prepped. Just got to group up, maybe start taking objectives. But that's the thing I really love about Fellowship of the Nerds. If they land one CC, they can continually chain it.
Yeah.
You get that binding, you follow it up with a stun from the Cocoon, you can pull them in, you can land chompers out of either Cocoon or the binding. They just have a great CC train. Not that, we do see the Gnar ulti. He does turn up Harablo. He drops out of Mega Gnar, though. He's going to be able to survive one more stack of the Hyper. He gets it going. He's very low. He's going to try and pull Poop the Sheep in, but going to blow his flash. Still picking up that solo kill. and Poof the Sheep really laying down the laws. He has a 2-level advantage now up in that top lane.
That's very dangerous. We do see the arrow coming in onto Baby Chalk there as the Twisted Fate.
Bakery Boy coming in from the back. They do pick up the kill. The TP is coming in from Poof the Sheep, but I'm not sure he's going to keep it going. He does. The taunt does land on the Chaw's good. Great. He does land the red card. Do the wild cards is enough. Poof the Sheep jumps in, tries to get that boomerang, but Jay Frazier barely getting out using that Spirit Rush and Flash just to keep himself alive. A nice little 3-kill swing there for Vicious and Delicious, as well as picking up that bottom tier turret.
No, that was a great engage from Durka, shooting the arrow down the lane there, catching out Baby Chalk, which really started that whole thing and really snowballed it out of control at the end there. Cho's good, not quite as quick on the trigger with the black shield as he needed to be with that arrow, and then they ended up paying for it as they went dropped one by another. Great taunts from Mo Money though, really using the flash taunt to his advantage there, and Kindred definitely getting a little fed in her own right there, and she does pick up the Blade of the Ruin King, and just, you know, really controlling the jungle it seems thus far. But I mean, we do see Bo's good. He's picking up his own items. He's got that Rylai's. He's got the, you know, his jungle item fully completed there. He's sitting on some wards as well. So he's not doing so bad himself either in the jungle. But so far, we do see some action in the mid lane here.
Oh, Jay Frazier does land that charm. He is going to follow up with the Orb of the Deception, but the ulti is available. They're not going to commit to it too hard. The Morello is trying to negate some of that healing. But yeah, just really great to keep catching him up, but that's the key. If you can CC lock the Kindred, that ulti doesn't come out, that is huge. That pretty much delays the fight, so Vision Delicious can put more damage down onto other turrets, locking up. Oh, that binding just missing as well as the charm. They should be able to put down a decent amount of damage, but never mind. Baby Chalk is not there. The nice stun there by Bosgood. The black shield is used, but not going to come in handy as they do land the snare, but Jay Frazier should be very careful. Does get hit by the arrow there. They're going to follow up with a taunt. They do kill him. However, Kindred does go down. Heroblo doing a ton of damage to Durka. They're going to use the Stand United. He is forced to flash out. Poof the Sheep is there as well, but he gets locked down by the Dark Binding. They're going to keep going on to him. Baby Chalk will pick up that kill. There's a lot of low targets on the map, and Baby Chalk's going to keep going. Durka is very low. Mo Money trying to body block for him, and that was a great turnaround there by Fellowship of the Nerds, kind of getting caught out and completely turning that fight on its head.
No, that was fantastic, and I mean, Baby Chalk, sorry, fantastic positioning, just sitting on the tail end of the fight, just using those AoE rockets, just doing an absurd amount of damage. And then again, we do see Harblow, even though he is behind.
Oh my goodness, that CC train, that's exactly what we were talking about. You get hit by the binding, you get hit by the snare, you follow over the cocoon, that guy's not moving for forever, you're just putting down a ton of free damage. They're going to take that kill. However though, Mo Money really saving that turret, keeping it from going down. Bakery Boy going to pop the ulti, might just put the threat of him going in, delay those back so they might be able to pick up an objective here. The mastery is being flaunted there. Let them know, hey, you can TP on us. Oh, almost picking up the kill on Herablo there, saying maybe a little too long.
But yeah, even though Harblow is so far behind, almost like a full item, we do see that Poof the Sheep has picked up a Randuin's Omen there, where Harblow is just sitting on that black cleaver. So again, that's a huge front line there. Like, you saw how much damage Harblow did. He got the full stacks on there, used his the Demacian Guillotine, I believe it is, his ultimate there, and was able just to do an absurd amount of damage, apply the stacks on everyone. Just was a huge threat. He didn't want everyone had to back off just so that they didn't get the 5 bleed stacks put onto them from the Darius there. So it's a very scary threat, and it just enabled Baby Chalk to have some very aggressive positioning there, get an absurd amount of damage onto the team, and then Vicious and Delicious had to completely back off of their own turret there, just from the threat, because Poof the Sheep went in, and he was almost kind of like left as a lamb to the slaughter there, as the rest of the team was able to just CC him up there and turn that one around. But yeah, I mean, great team fight from Fellowship of the Nerds. Really playing the comp exactly the way it needs to be.
Land of the Slaughter, Kindred, I see what you did there.
Oh, I was saying more Poop the Sheep, Land of the Slaughter.
But we do see Vicious and Delicious here. They are going to try and sneak a Baron, and no one's looking, and this is the advantage of having the Kindred. Kindred sitting at 4 stack. That is roughly, I believe, 6% health. You shred on top of the 8% coming out from the Blade of the Ruin. You can shred that so fast, and they get the Baron for free. They had no idea they were doing it, but Jay Frazier catching a great taunt there, as well as the binding, but they're not going to follow up as fear of that ulti going to come out. But this is huge for Vicious and Delicious. With only 2 turrets down, there's a ton of turrets that are prepped on this map. Oops, split pushing is going to be even more effective, but they're going to land a decent amount of damage onto Mo Money. Might have to back them off so far, push them back, pick up that dragon quickly as they're going to have to retreat, heal up, but Poof might be able to pick up that top turret in the meantime.
No, definitely. Poof, you know, he's really using his advantage very, very well, putting a lot of pressure on the top side of the map. But they are going to pick up a dragon here. That's going to be the second one for Fellowship of the Nerds here. The Charm doing a lot there. So, I mean, just for Jay Frazier's accuracy rate on the Charms, I'd say he's very, very close to 100 here. I mean, the number of times I've seen him catch out to Freakers in a brush is pretty insane. Durka, he has a lot of damage, but that Baron buff is really going to help these guys to get some siege potential here, just because there's a very good amount of wave clear coming out of Fellowship of the Nerds, so it's a very good part of their comp. They have the AoE rockets from Jinx, they have the Orb of Deception from Jay Frazier, so they're going to definitely have to work, so the Baron minions are going to help them really push into these turrets, which is exactly what they need to start picking up some more gold, some more objectives on the map, and really crack it open so they can force themselves deeper into Fellowship of the Nerds jungle.
Yeah, no, I thought that snare was going to land on the Durka.
I thought so too. It was so close.
And that's the thing. Jinx is actually in a very good sweet spot. Has the Phantom Dancer as well as the Infinity Edge. It looks like Chosgood should be able to go back and finish that Zeke's Harbinger. Going to have those crits. You're going to be throwing out those AoE crits on demand. I do believe that should hit him at the 100%, having that IE as well as Phantom Dancer, putting on top that Zeke's Harbinger. Going to be able to throw out a lot of damage, and yeah, with the Ari as well as the Baby Trog, it might be a little hard for them to wave clear, but a decent amount of wave clear coming out from the Ashe and the TF as well. Should be able to pick up this tier 1 mid as Poop the Sheep is shoving in that bot lane. They also have Mo Money actually shoving in that other lane, and that's the advantage of that Shen support. You have that stand united. You don't need to bring the teleport to be a global threat. And he's just going to keep split pushing all the way into that turret. Really kind of spreads Fellowship of the Nerds thin, trying to defend all 3 lanes when you have so many globals coming out from Vicious and Delicious to match that presence.
No, absolutely great use of this Baron buff so far. You know, really splitting the entire map open, really making Fellowship of the Nerds pick a hard choice here on which kind of lane to defend there. And in the end, they don't really pick up anything. They lose the outer mid tower there. Poop the Sheep was able to push it in that top lane very, very far in, and now they have Mo Money kind of pushing that one in himself. And on the bot side now, they have the entire team rotating down there, still with the Baron buff. So it's very hard for them to kind of clear these waves out. But I feel like there's not going to be much else taken with this Baron buff. It's just going to be wearing off pretty soon here. But still, great use of it so far, because it was a very early Baron, so there's definitely more taken in the later parts of this game if either team gets a big fight here. So definitely so far as early as it is, but they are going to try and catch out.
Oh, Bakery does have the ulti available. The flash, Nor ulti, he gets completely destroyed. Baby Truck is taken down. The TP from Arablo kind of puts him in an awkward spot. He's going to do a ton of damage towards Bakery Boy, though. Freaker's taking the turret as much as he can for his team. Chosgood and Bosgood coming in from behind. A great cocoon there. They do kill him using the Stand United as well. The ulti doesn't come through. They pick up the kill on to Bakery Boy as well. Poop's going to try and get out of there. He should be able to, though. The flash, the cocoon isn't available there. It's going to hold on to it. They do miss the dark binding. Poof does dodge the cocoon as well. He is getting away. The Meganar, though, isn't going to be available. The charm landing from Jay Frazier. They will take him down using that Spirit Rush. So 1 kill as they dived very heavily under that tier 2 turret. But in the end, it's actually Fellowship of the Nerds coming out on top of those 3 kills.
Yeah, I don't think that Vicious and Delicious realized quite where all the members of Fellowship of the Nerds were. So they ended up turning them around very, very well. And it was a very scary point because, I mean, Twisted Fate had used all his abilities to kind of get into the fight and catch out Baby Trog. And he had not a lot to get himself out. Barely managing to use a gold card, but then they ended up getting flanked by Chosgood and Bosgood there, who had enough CC to lock up the Kindred there. Just completely roasted her there. The Shen not enough to kind of turn that one around. And then, I mean, after that, it was just one by one by one. They just kept falling down like some dominoes there. So not great pickup for either of the teams here. But so far, it's just looking like it's going to reset very gently here. Everyone's just going to kind of pick up their camps. Not a lot there. But we do see Jay Frazier. He's going to try and pick up some more gold on the map here as they are going to kind of set up for the dragon here. Looks like a little bit early. Get some just vision in general around the ward. Set up another line of scrimmage to kind of protect themselves more defensively. So we do see a hard push here coming out from Fellowship of the Nerds here. I mean, they do have the Jinx, so really objectives are theirs for the taking if they can get the right positioning and the right advantage on it. They're going to try and layer that CC, not going to quite catch the zap there from Baby Trog onto Freakers. Going to hop out of that with his Q. That Q offers an absurd amount of mobility, especially when you have it layered in the Wolf Spike there. The AoE there allows you to have a lot lower cooldown on your Q. You know, the small little dash there. So great repositioning. So it's a fantastic. Kindred is just so good in team fights because you have the ability to keep repositioning, doing an absurd amount of damage, applying your stacks to so many So it is pretty huge. Marking Chose Good for death there, wanting to catch him out. So putting the threat down there. So Chose Good's just going to back off, hang around his team a little bit, hopefully not get caught out. But we do see
the charm does go wide. He's not going to be able to do enough damage. Can the Spirit Rush get him out in time as he's being slowed and sped up so much there? He does, however, end up getting away. But that's the thing. They have to send Jay Frazier in. Oh, a lot of damage going on to Baby Trog there. Coming out from Freakers. He's going towards that Brutalizer. He's going to be able to do a lot of damage in a short amount of time with that build, and that's just a percent health build. Once you start building up those stacks on Kindred, it is an absurd amount of damage. Mo Money just doing a little drive-by of the turret there. But that's the scary thing. With Harablo not having his teleport up, they have to send Jay Frazier to match up against him, and Poof is just so dang tanky. He's not going to go down to a single burst, catching him out with just a charm, followed up by Foxfire, use that Orbit Deception. He's going to stay rather healthy. It's going to be very scary, but Harablo's TP almost back up. But Fellowship of the Nerds, like we said, very resilient, not going to give up without a fight. With this Dragon coming up, I wouldn't be surprised to find a fight. As we do see the Soul Shock, it's going to be used onto Freakers here. But they will take down Choska before anything else.
Nice
United used as well. The arrow landing onto Bosgood. They do get the taunt, however, and he does repel, but he's not going to be able to get too far. The yellow card picking up the kill there. They do, however, take down Bosgood as well, as Baby Trog gets out barely, as well as Harablo just trying to get out of there. And that's a great play there by Vicious and Delicious. Kind of looked like they caught out to Freakers, but they turned that around in a hurry, and this should be a free Dragon and maybe a turret for them. No, they're going straight for Baron.
The Baron is live, and I mean, they can take it down pretty quick with the Kindred once she does decide to make her way down there. And I mean, the Shen, he's pretty tanky himself right now, even being in the support role. I mean, he's got that Dead Man's Plate. He's got his upgraded support item. He's got the Twisted Fate split pushing into the lane there. So this is going to be pretty easy, but Baby Trog going to try and interrupt that, maybe throwing some AoE rockets himself. But Move the Sheep, he's hopping over the wall there. He's going to want to take this one for himself, but he's going to get caught up in the Chompers there, so not a lot he's going to be able to do. But they do end up picking up the Baron here, so that's going to be the second Baron going over to Vicious and Delicious, and that's going to accelerate this gold lead to 57,000 to 47,000. So just under a 10k gold lead here for Vicious and Delicious. So even though the fights have been going kind of either way, they've definitely had the better map play, I would say, thus far. So, but we do see Fellowship of the Nerds going down to pick up their third Dragon here. Pretty uncontested, honestly. Not a lot. I mean, Poof the Sheep was in the top lane. The Shen had gone back. And they're going to just pick up this blue buff now, but they might find Kindred on the outside of this one. So Freakers being a little aggressive in his positioning here. But again, yeah, so they do recognize that the Baron is gone, so they pick up the Dragon. So they're at 3 Dragons now, which is pretty good for them. I mean, those buffs are nothing to kind of, you know, wag your finger at. So great for them to pick up their own objectives where they can and when they can, you know, recognizing the proper timing for that. But we do see Vicious and Delicious rotating into the bot lane now. And I really love the fact that Fellowship of the Nerds, they may lose Baron, but they immediately just, hey guys, Dragon's up, let's grab that, go B. That's what you need to do. You need to be proactive. Even though you've lost an objective, look for what you can try and salvage out of losing it. So they go, grab Dragon. Now they're at 3 Dragon stacks, and they usually get those Dragons off of picks that they make or reactive plays to what Vicious and Delicious have done. Yes, they are behind, but they're playing very smart. They're not running headstrong at a team they know they can't beat 5v5. They're trying to follow up on their picks. They've done very well thus far. They're going to have to kind of wait out, probably maybe give up a turret or two, but Harablo looking for Bakery Boy, does land to Decimate, gets the pull back in. The yellow card is pulled. Baby Trog going to try and throw out that zap. It's going to go a little wide, and the bot lane tier 2 will drop. Trying to keep the tier 3s alive, but they have all 3 lanes pushing in right now with Baron Minions. That enchanted arrow going a little wide there onto Chosgood. Not quite going to land. You know, this is like a great play from Vicious and Delicious, using this Baron buff super well. Splitting it into like a 1-1-3 kind of setup just because they need that bot lane to push it in there. But yeah, I mean, they don't really have a huge answer for Poop the Sheep yet, as he's just chunking out Harlow by himself here. So once the wave kind of catches up to Poop, he's definitely going to be able to push this one on, really warm up that inhibitor turret on the top side of the map. And then it's whether Fellowship of the Nerds wants to answer that, but then they're going to have to choose about losing another inhibitor turret on a different part of the map. So really making them choose between the, you know, the worst of 2 evils here. But Jay Frazier deciding to try and, you know, turn this one around on Poop the Sheep. Bull just going a little bit short there from Harblow in the top lane, but they are going to maybe try and make a fight here. Well, they do land everything. They do miss the charm that Kindred ulti is used as well as Stand United. Mo Money is there. He gets a 3-man taunt. Poop comes in. He doesn't quite have Mega Gnar. He does land the stun. He throws Gnar, 2 of them into the wall. Chosgood trying to get out as much as he can. He does survive with a heal, but Mo Money comes in from the side. Durga picking up the kill. In the backline, we have Poop the Sheep putting down a lot of damage onto Harablo. They do pick up the kill in the backline onto Baby Trog. Harablo trying to do whatever he can, but that is an ace for Vicious and Delicious, only losing Bakery Boy, and that should be the ace and probably the game. No, yeah, I mean, that is a huge pickup. Only losing one member on the side of Vicious and Delicious, and a pretty convincing ace against Fellowship of the Nerds there. And they do have the waves definitely pushing in there. They can go take all the inhibitors that they want, but they are just going for the Nexus towers there. And I mean, just between the pushing power they have with Kindred and Ashe, they're definitely going to be able to take this one down, I think. The only reserve might be that they don't have the waves to quite do it, but they do get the second one, and they are just going to go straight onto the Nexus. And that seems like it is going to be game 1 in our best of 3 series with Vicious and Delicious versus Fellowship of the Nerds. So, big win for Vicious and Delicious game 1 here. I mean, I'm very, very curious to see how the game changes going into game 2 here. But so far, these comps are very, very well structured. I mean, we did see both of the teams coming in here. Just take a little snooze there. I mean, it was an exciting game, and I was
trying to fix my pen. I'm sorry.
Right?
I was trying to fix the pen.
But anyway, the first game there, I mean, that was a very exciting first game. Some great map movements there, great communication from the teams. We didn't really see any hesitation on either side. I mean, when somebody pulled the trigger, the rest of the team kind of followed up there, and so it made for a very great, well-played game.
I mean, I hate to use the term like playing well even though you're losing, but Fellowship of the Nerds held into that game a lot longer than it should have been.
Yeah.
They definitely made Vicious and Delicious have to fight really hard to get that win. They were ahead for such a long time, but sneaking out the objectives, they wave cleared very well, even though they snuck that early Baron. But I was very impressed with that Kindred plays. It was nice to actually see. It always sucks when it's like, oh, new champion's out. People played, and it's like so average or crappy, and it's like, yeah, this champion sucks. But then you see like someone actually use it for like optimally, thank you. And it looks so much cleaner, so much better, and that was just great performance. And he built full damage, so that's what I love to see.
It was a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, nothing but full damage here in SKL, guys. But as far as game 2 goes, how do you think that they might decide to switch up the comps a little bit, or do you think they're going to go with very similar style stuff going into the next parts of these games?
That's a very tough call. Like, Fellowship of the Nerds really love this split push. I mean, that's why they'll put Jay Frazier on something like Zed. He'll go split push, and they have Parablo split push. They run the Bard and a hyper carry, something else in the jungle with CC. They run that 1-3-1. That's kind of their style. But with the global presence that Vicious and Delicious bring with that team comp, I don't know exactly how they're going to change it. Maybe they're going to try and find super heavy engaged team fighting comp. Maybe that's how you go at Vicious and Delicious, force them to fight you, because a lot of the team fights they were able to turn around quite well.
No, for sure. But I mean, it seemed like in that game though, Vicious and Delicious was really ones who were opting for the split push coming in that game. I mean, they had Poof the Sheep going like forever in that top lane. He barely joined the team. And
Can't beat him, join him.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had Twisted Fate in an opposing lane, and then they had the rest of the members of the team going there. And if they didn't have Twisted Fate, it was Shen. So they had a lot of options there, because Shen, even when he's in the support role, still offers a lot of split push threat there. So I mean, they had a lot of options to work with. I mean, they had a great global comp. They had this split push. They kind of had it all there. And I mean, the Ashe provided a lot of consistent damage. Same with the Kindred.
Long range engage too. Actually, some great enchanted crystal arrows.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially in that bot lane there where they shot it down the lane, picked up Baby Chog, and I mean, that's the main hyper carry. So once he's gone, I mean, they're definitely thrown for a loop there. So it really, I'd say, throws them off once they kind of are matched in their play style there, especially because, like we said, that Fellowship of the Nerds likes split push, but once they're kind of matched to the very opposing and equally as good, if not better, split push from Vicious and Delicious, especially in that game there, it almost seems like they're not too sure how to proceed from there, because Harblow, he was getting punished extremely hard in that lane. Poof the Sheep was just handling like nobody's business. So I say they definitely have to really enable Harblow and try and not get him so far behind going into the next game here, because Poof the Sheep really created the advantage going into that.
It's a pretty unfavorable matchup.
It is.
And I mean, that's the kind of unfortunate thing. That's the thing about early picking Darius, is you will get counterpicked. I mean, the Nana did come out. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a Fiora come out eventually, a great champion into it. But I think there'll be not a bunch of huge changes going into pick ban, maybe just the way they play. But we're going to take a short break, let the teams kind of pull themselves together, play some ads. So stay tuned. We will be right back with Game 2 of Vicious and Delicious and Fellowship of the Nerds.